Welcome to episode 87 of 100 Songs. Today our topic is Deftones and the song This Link Is Dead off of 2020's Ohms. And I was pretty impressed with this album overall. I'm a fan of Deftones and have been since almost the beginning. I discovered them in the 90s and have pretty much, not pretty much, I've purchased everything that's come out from them since. And the anticipation for Ohms was pretty high, but my expectations were kind of, for some reason, I was like not thinking that it was going to be as good as it is. Ohms really stands up really well against the catalog. Don't get me wrong, I've liked all of their albums, some more than others, and Ohms is one of my favorites, going, almost all the way back. Their first few are obviously a lot different than their later stuff. Their sound has become more refined. I don't know if refine's the right word, but they've definitely grown as a band and their sound, but they've stuck with a lot of what I really liked from them in the first place, which is high energy. I like the hardcore nature overall of the band. And they've had some experimental kind of moments in sort of the middle of their catalog, but not really ever going too far from kind of their core, even though they've managed, like I said, to evolve as a band and grow. I don't really get tired of them. I think they do a pretty good job of remaining fresh. And Ohms, I thought was really, really good. So when I was putting this 100 songs list together, I picked This Link Is Dead. Probably not one of the more popular songs on the record, but I love this song. I like how hardcore it is. I like how angry it is. It's almost a little over the top in its energy, but I like stuff like that. And I like the album a lot, so it was pretty easy to come up with this. I mean, I could have picked so many songs from their long career, and I always say that when I record these episodes. Not that it really matters what I'm picking, but this is a song I really like a lot. So that was what kind of drove the discussion towards Ohms. But the song This Link Is Dead, I'm not 100% sure what it's about, but it is very angry and a lot of screaming. I like Chino's screaming vocals. His vocals in general I really like. And it doesn't hold back here, really. Song is very anti-conformist, it feels like. The conviction in the song of the protagonist, if you want to even call it that, is profound. Driven by history, maybe the past, and seeking independence and free of influence, I guess. Those are kind of the notes that I took. I read, I don't come up with this stuff all myself either. I've read a few people's descriptions of what they think it's about, and that sort of seeking the sort of anti-conformity or you're not going to tell me what to do type of thing. Being free of influence and being pissed off about it even happening or attempting to happen. It's kind of the general theme, I think. Deftones is formed in 1988 by some high school some guys in high school. And like so many of these bands we talk about, are friends forming in either high school or more often college. But formed in 1988, Sacramento, California. Sacramento band. I grew up in Sacramento. I'm not originally from there. I'm from the Bay Area. But I've spent most of my life in the Sacramento area. And there have been some famous bands that have come out of Sacramento. Not very many. It's a short list. Deftones is definitely one of them. I never saw them when they were in the local scene, when they were playing in clubs locally. I wasn't privy to their performances in bars and stuff, although I've probably gone to a lot of other shows and places that they've played. But I never saw them when they were a local band here. Alt metal, new metal, or some of the descriptions of the genre they represent. I don't know, it's just metal to me. It's heavy, really, really heavy riffs, screamed vocals. But then there's some really emotional, I don't want to say soft, or even really quiet, but there's some mellow parts, some moving parts, and then there's just super high energy, kind of angry screaming vocals too, which I like. Debut album Adrenaline came out in 1995. It's produced by Terry Date, who has worked with Pantera and Soundgarden and many others. And Around the Fur came out in 1997. Around the Fur was I felt like a step up in terms of not just production quality, but just the sound in general. I love Adrenaline. I think it's it is, how would I describe it? I like the rawness of it, or just the I don't know, it's got its own kind of sound, and you can tell it's a little bit older, but I really like it. I think it's really cool, and it holds up really well too. Around the Fur really quickly started becoming popular, and there's a few songs off there that are people's probably all-time favorite Deftones songs list. That album, I think, made a big impact, and they really were taking off after that with White Pony, which came out in 2000. White Pony, to me, started getting a little more experimental, but a lot of really solid songs, some guest artists on there as well, and again, a bunch of songs that were among their most popular of all time. So it seems like those two albums really back to back were the big rise of Deftones for sure. Had really early success due to just relentless touring, which helped get them on the map. But it's those two albums, I think, that really elevated their popularity, made them put them on the map, I guess, is the way of putting it. Kind of a ways into their career, Chi Chang, is that how you say his name? Was in a car accident. Started to recover, but then ultimately died. Had a heart attack. He was the bass player, I believe, of the Deftones, and that created a little, I would say, a pause. The band took a pause at that point. They had some work they were doing on an album, and that work got shelved. I don't know if it ever resurfaced or if there's recordings of it somewhere. It probably is. Or maybe there isn't. I don't know. I didn't look. Maybe I should. But they were on a pause at that point. I had lost a dear friend and band member. And then kind of, got someone new in that position to take over bass, and then went from there. And I don't think the albums they've had since those early ones necessarily grew their fan base as much. I really don't know. I'm just speculating. But I think at this point they have a pretty big fan base. And I like I said, I like everything that has come out from them. I could probably rank the albums. I'd have to think about it again, but I put together a list of all my favorite Deftones songs, just a playlist. I do that with a lot of bands that I like. And there's at least 2 songs on every album, and then some albums have a bunch more songs. Ohms certainly has several songs that I would put on my list. I already talked about how much I like that album. So Ohms was also produced by Terry Date, who did their first 4 albums. So it was kind of a return, Terry Date into working with them. And this is 2020, so this is like, I think this came out during, the pandemic was early 2020. I think it came out, I don't remember exactly when it came out, but I do remember listening to it on a lot of long walks around the neighborhood. A neighborhood, not my neighborhood. Taking my kids to swim team, and I would have time to kill, so I'd listen to music. And I remember my listening to this album was a lot of my early listens were walking around the streets. Anyway, let's check out a little bit of This Link is Dead. This is 2/3 into the song-ish, so we'll play a little bit of it. Here we go. Yeah, so that's basically the whole end of the song. I think that was a good encapsulation of that song. That's 4.5 minutes. I liked that part, the guitar's building, and then he gets into his final sort of vocal parts there. I like that, woo! I sound like an idiot when I'm doing that, but I like that little addition to the end of that vocal part there. And then the kind of the climax, and then some good drumming there, and then the song ends. It's a great song. Great song. So let's look at, take a look at the wheel, which is getting the pieces are getting very fat as we're getting down to almost the last 10 songs. We've got about 12 songs left, I think. Let's see what we are talking about next time. Planet of the Apes. Okay, Devin Townsend project, of course. Devin Townsend, who's had an incredible solo career, incredible career, but right in the middle, a bunch of albums under the Devin Townsend Project moniker. We're going to talk about deconstruction and specifically the song Planet of the Apes next time. Thanks.